Good morning, everybody. My name is Adam Handler.
Wow.
I am your case handler. It is Wednesday, June 10th, 2020. And the good news for you is that you are now officially cruising with the case handler. A show by attorneys. We are Pollack, Isaac, and DeSico. For those of you listening live on 93.5, good morning. Thank you for spending some time with us. We hope we make it worth your while. Maybe you're on your way to work. Maybe you're just walking around. Maybe you're on Facebook. I don't even know where anybody is these days, but you should know that we are here for you. And that's the most important thing to get out there. We are a law firm that's been 100% up and running since the pandemic hit, settling personal injury cases, dealing with immigration matters, criminal matters, matrimonial matters, real estate matters. We've been really cranking it out these past 3 months, and we are looking forward to our reopening at 225 Broadway on the 3rd floor. Our phone number is 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529 or 844-PPID-LAW. Once again, my name is Adam Handler. I am your case handler, and I'm here for you because you have one chance to get it right, one choice of attorney. And we here at PPID are going to knock it out of the park for you if you ever need a good lawyer that really cares. With me this morning is the host of the show, David Squeeze Annakie. Good morning, David.
Good morning, and thanks for holding it down, man. I had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but nothing that David Annakie could not resolve. And thank you so much for steering the ship, all of that. Thank you so much, Mr. Case Handler. How you feeling today, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I heard you had a little bit of FOMO yesterday.
Oh, on what part?
Well, you know what FOMO is, right?
Yeah, fear of missing out.
Exactly. Well, I had, am I host yet?
A little? I'm being sarcastic. A little?
Yeah.
A little?
Well,
nobody invites me anywhere. I'm like, okay.
Give me some hosting privileges here. Like I said, we're looking to reopen our office any day now, as soon as we get the green light. Of course, we won't be doing it in the same manner as before, at least for right now, PPE and social distancing. And of course, we will have, half of us in the office and half of us home, or a third and 2/3. I don't know how we're doing it, but, I haven't seen my staff in months. And these are people that I've worked, Sandra Taylor, my paralegal, I've been with her, or we've been together rather, for 11 years. And I just needed to see them all. And I didn't want to do it in the office wearing all this masks and everything. I wanted to do it in a backyard. So give me some sharing privileges, David. Come on. I want to show you a picture. I want to show you what we did yesterday, because it was really great.
Rub it in, just go ahead, rub it in.
We had the personal injury department at my house yesterday in my backyard. We ordered some great food. This is actually, this is a picture that we took right when things were getting going. It was a really great day. We actually catered in from a jerk chicken truck. That's our preference of food. We can never agree on what food to order to the office, but whenever somebody proposes West Indian cuisine, we usually have a pretty good vote in favor of it. So that's what we did. It was awesome, and it was awesome seeing everybody. And most importantly, we're all ready to get back into work, get back to the office energized. And since March 1st, we've settled, I think it's 38 cases. 38 cases, wow. Over $12 million for the year. Certainly doing and continuing to do some really special things here at the Personal Injury Department of PPID. Again, our phone number is 844-774-3529. That's 844-PPID-LAW. And I'm really curious to know what's been going on in the Immigration Department. If you were to sum it up over the past 3 months, Conrad and Nelson, what would you say PPID has been doing with respect to the immigration issues?
Are you referring to the response, the outpouring of love and devotion that we've received from the community that we're focusing on at the moment.
It could be that. It could be working on cases. I don't know if somebody I don't know, somebody says to you, hey, Maestro, what's the immigration department been up to these past 3 months since the pandemic? What would you say to them?
Well, I've been working on a lot of new songs. We've been busy, we've been on the radio now for going on 3 months, I think. I've lost track exactly when our first show was, but we've made I believe, a substantial inroads into working with this community that we're addressing at the moment. And we've gotten, I can't even tell you how many calls and signs of appreciation from people, and signed up a lot of new cases. And I think we've helped a lot of people, plenty of people, as we say every day. I would say a majority of the calls we get are from people that have either tried to do the cases on their own, or had friends helping them, or neighbors, or rotten lawyers. There are a few out there, and we've been able to steer a lot of people in the right direction. Am I speaking correctly, Nelson?
No, absolutely. I have been pleasantly surprised. We are very busy, a lot going on. Just yesterday, actually, we were retained. We are filing a habeas as well as a stay on a case where the gentleman had a removal order, was picked up by ICE the day before yesterday, which would be Monday, right?
ICE, of course, being those bad guys, those immigration cops.
Right. So this morning, we're getting ready to actually file a writ of habeas, which is basically an attempt to get our client released from ICE custody, as well as an emergency stay. So we have been, very busy. I'm glad. I wasn't sure what would happen when all of this first happened, but we've been very busy, which is
when Nelson talks about a writ of habeas, that he's talking about going to federal court. Again, this is something we've been talking about a lot, and we're going to continue to talk about it. In fact, Nelson and I were discussing this yesterday. Federal court is, I believe, the wave of the future in a lot of respects with regards to immigration. As I've been saying, immigration, they don't follow their own rules. They make rules, very stringent rules these days in particular, and then they break them. They don't believe that they're subject to the rules. Only we are. Only the public and the immigration bar is subject to the rules. But immigration, the government, they don't have to follow their own rules. So, we tend to disagree with that interpretation. So when immigration says, we're going to do what we want to do regardless. Well, hey, when PPID comes on board, we say, can't do that. We're taking you to federal court. And here's an example. We have a case being filed today, a writ of habeas, to get our client out of detention because he shouldn't be there. All right. Or at the very least, to not send them home because they're trying to deport them. All right. This is what we do. And I hate to say it, but it's unfortunate. But this is the future, because immigration, especially, God help us all, if DJT gets reelected, this is what we're staring at for some time. And things are not going to get easier for immigrants. And one avenue of relief that luckily we still have is the federal court system. Although even that, they're making inroads and making things more difficult. But at least we still have the federal court system as an alternative for relief.
Actually, I don't know if you remember, Adam, Conrad had mentioned last week that there was several judges from the Board of Immigration Appeals, which is where you go to appeal a case after it's been denied by the immigration court. Right. They had offered 9 judges buyouts, which they declined. Just yesterday, it so happens that these 9 judges have been reassigned.
These are 9 judges that were more or less on what the government considers to be on the liberal side of things, pro-immigrant. So they try to the money to get them to retire and leave the bench. So every time I hear this, new judges, conservative judges. So they refuse. These are good guys. They want to do the right thing. So what does the government do?
They reassigned them.
And these were judges that were appointed by who? Obama?
By Obama, by the Bush administration. These are long-serving judges. These judges have been on the board for years.
Well, these are typically guys that are on the bar. They're either previous immigration lawyers for the government, or their previous immigration lawyers, a private bar like us. And these guys are judges. They're pretty much lifetime appointments.
Well,
pretty much.
You know what, guys? Let me jump in there for a minute here and just remind people, not to interject, but to once again, this is Cruising with the Case Handler. You're listening to the attorneys, the immigration attorneys, the Conrad Pollacks, aka the Maestro, the Nelson Madrid, aka the Maverick, and you heard the cases, the kind of cases that they're dealing with. You can hear that they know of the internals as to what's going on behind the scene in the Department of Homeland Security. Their finger is on the pulse when it comes to immigration. Their finger is on the pulse when it comes to the Department of Homeland Security, which is not on your side. It's like they set up the system to ensure that you don't get through. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the reason why I say to each and every single one of you, use only PPID. All right? Yes, you're getting all this free information on the radio. You're getting all these free consultations, but I can tell you this, do not work on your case yourself. You've got proficient, competent attorneys that will treat you like family, like Adam Handler normally says. Make sure you reach out to them. I can't implore you enough. So with that said, dial this number, 844-774-3529. It is a free phone consultation, off the air, privately and confidentially with an attorney at PPID. So everyone out there, dial the number. The number is 844-774-3529. If you are serious about taking care of your immigration situation, make the call to Nelson, make the call to Conrad or any of the other proficient and competent attorneys at PPID. 844-774-3529. Dial that number now, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
And Squeeze, following up on what you're just saying, in particular, those people that have criminal issues, those people that may have done something indiscriminate in the past, maybe they got their green cards without immigration finding out about a previous arrest or finding out a previous departure or lengthy departure from the United States, they are checking. I mean, their immigration scrutinizes these applications more thoroughly than ever before. I cannot emphasize that enough. They've even created for the first time, they've created just a section, a squad, let's say, that all their function in life is to go through previous applications for naturalization to see if anybody lied on their application, to see if they didn't cross a T or dot an I. All right, to see if they can take away their citizenship. That's all these people do. All right, this is just an example of what the administration is trying to do with regard to the immigrant population. And unfortunately, we've been talking about the travel ban, that it's a 60-day travel ban that's currently in place. It looks like there's going to be an announcement coming within the next few days. Usually they do this on a Friday night, so it could happen. What's tomorrow? It could happen Friday night. They like to announce things like this on the cover of darkness. They may be extending this ban to cover non-immigrant visas, work visas, H1s, H2s, J1s. It looks like it's coming, folks, and it's just days away in terms of an announcement. And when they do it, it's going to probably be a ban valid for 90 days, maybe even 180 days, 6 months. Which would bring us, of course, past the election. He's going to, the administration is going to try and have this in effect until they're gone. And again, the pretext is going to be jobs, the economy. We have so much unemployment. On the one hand, they're crowing on Monday about, the job numbers, unemployment's going down, and people are all going back to work. On the other hand, unemployment's really bad. We can't bring any foreign workers to compete with U.S. workers. So they like to have it both ways. But unfortunately, it's coming.
Yeah. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the number is 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. And gentlemen, I have had a couple of requests, and I want to know what you all think of it. We need to spend at least 3 minutes every day in our show touching on current events.
Current events.
Current events. For example,
didn't we just talk about my backyard PI party?
For example, Conrad's a friend here, I'm being sarcastic, DT, is saying that the 75-year-old man that was pushed in Buffalo is with Antifa.
Incredible.
You heard that speculation, right?
But not surprising.
But it's just, and it's unfounded.
Not to get you started, Conrad.
So you push him again. So you push him to the ground and cause his head to bleed.
No, well, they're saying that he wasn't pushed that hard, and that he deliberately banged his head against the ground so he'd start bleeding. I guess that's the thought process going on there, if there is any thought process going on there.
Anyway, people, log on to Facebook. Give us your comments, okay? All right, give us your comments and tell us what you think of that. By the way, the number for the attorneys, the immigration side, 844-774-3529. That's 844-774-3529. We will talk in length, ladies and gentlemen, on Facebook as we do each and every single day. But we're putting some pep in our step here on, of course, this great show that Adam Handler and myself decided to, of course, get going right here on 93.5, but also on Facebook. Speaking of Adam Handler, coming up straight ahead, he's going to be giving you a true success story. And also, Adam and Nelson and Conrad, did you know that they pulled the show, Bad Boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they pulled it. It's gone, it's dead. No more. Yeah.
Man, that show's been on for what, 20 plus years, right?
Long time.
30 years.
It's gone. It's been pulled because of everything that's going on. They said it's not favorable to have it on. So that show is dead. Finish. Complete.
I'm sure there's some other reality show that the target audience can tune their channels to. What's that? The Wars. What's that other something Wars? I forget the name of the show.
All right.
Anyway, that's enough for our current events or whatever is happening. Our topical stuff.
There's an expression. There's an expression right now. The millennials, they say, "Okay, boomer." All right. So, okay, boomer. Okay, boomer. Let's
get a true success story to personally decide.
They fight over something. I don't know. It's the laundromat wars or tire wars, or I can't remember the name of the show.
Storage wars.
There you go.
They're fighting over who gets to get in the locker from the Steve storage units. I get it.
I have to admit, I'm not big on the reality shows. I never even watched The Apprentice. God strike me down. I never even watched The Apprentice.
Well, one day, Conrad, I'm going to walk in your office and go, "You're fired."
Well, hopefully not.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway,
make no mistake, people. This
we're
is
having fun today.
show
So listen,
on personal injury and immigration. All right. Adam.
Let's talk a little personal injury.
But let's just make it clear. This is a non-partisan show.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I actually have some. After we flip over to top of the hour, I actually have some questions about party lines in immigration. So I want to get into that actually. But
beautiful.
Again, my name is Adam Handler. I'm your case handler. Again, thrilled that you're with us this morning. We've been doing this. I've been doing the radio for almost 2 decades now, and this is the most consistent show I've ever done. I was on in the afternoons with other broadcasters on the station, and I get 10 minutes here and 15 minutes there, and listen, those guys showed me the love, of course, but Squeeze, you really encouraged me to really dig deep into this and provide not just commentary about personal injury, but depth as to our practice, depth as to us as professionals. So thank you for that. I'll actually, because I do feel bad that we didn't invite you yesterday to that backyard party. So to make up for it, all right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let you pick. I'm gonna let you pick a case to talk about. All right.
So but we weren't invited either. None of us were invited.
But I don't. I at least want to hang out with Squeeze.
So you don't want to hang out with Conrad and Nelson. Nelson's
kidding.
not even saying a word. Yeah, I know you're gonna get beat
Nelson
up.
didn't even know this was going down until this morning. So I'll let you dealer's choice, David. Talk about a case. Which case you want to talk about?
All right. So you know what? I am always going for the cases that is over $1 million. Today, I'm going to pick one that is under $1 million because they're equally important. So let's go. I want to go to the one that is for $890,000. That's settlement right there.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we don't have a link to that. I think maybe that person wanted their case to be
They
confidential.
want it to be private. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's go below. Let's go to the $835,000.
Sure. Okay. So $835. And we did talk about this case, but I love talking about it because
Reiterate. Yep.
it's an important case to this client, of course. Hold on, let me just delete this. And you see everybody on everybody on Facebook right now, you see when you go to my website, somebody immediately asks, how can we help you? And we're looking at the casehandler.com. And if you're listening on the radio right now, please do me a favor. Check out Case Handler on Facebook or Case Handler on Instagram. And this was a auto accident, but also a workplace accident. Why? Jim was a construction worker in a vehicle on the Cuomo Bridge, which is the old Tappan Zee Bridge, making sure that vehicles are in the correct lane of traffic and not near the actual construction work. So he's sitting in his truck with the big, arrow, blinking, stay to the left. And as he's sitting there, a tractor trailer, not paying attention, blasts into his vehicle. And you can see here, the damage in the middle photo is the damage sustained to Jim's vehicle. And then on the right, you see the tractor trailer, which actually rolled over and caused, I remember, an 8 or 9 hour backup of traffic. But the point of this case is that Jim actually was a prior client of ours. And he was a volunteer firefighter as well, and also got into another accident in which somebody ran into his back, and he had a surgery to his neck. This case, he went back to work, and this accident re-aggravated the injury that he previously had. And he actually required a revision to his spine surgery. Now, the truck obviously was not disputing the liability, meaning they weren't disputing they caused the accident, but they certainly were disputing the injuries, saying that these are all pre-existing injuries. We shouldn't have to pay for it. To make a long story short, we were able to, through medical evidence, show that was not the case. And we were able to get him $835,000. Now, why only $835,000? I mean, this case could have gone for probably double that, but the truck had $1 million insurance policy. And out of that $1 million insurance policy, the damage to the vehicles and the damage to the bridge had to be paid for. So who do you think got the money first? The state of New York or poor old Jim? Who do you think it was, Squeeze?
Of course, the state of New York.
The state of New York, right. So what we had to do is we had to supervise it to make sure that every penny was being paid out correctly. We didn't want the state to get $1 more than they were entitled to. And then, of course, we took the rest and sent Jim on his way. Tax-free money, $835,000. The best we could have done for him. But you know what? They offered us, $700 at one time. And we said, no, we need. It's already limited enough. Give us every last penny. And the point of this story is that, like every other case we deal with, we go for the maximum compensation. We go for the most goo-goo we can possibly get you, because we understand you have one chance to get it right. No redos. Jim could never go back and say, I need more money, right? We got all his medical bills paid. We got all his time out of work paid. And then, of course, $835,000 on top of that. So one chance, one choice, your case handler, 844-774-3529, 844-774-3529, or 844-PPID-LAW. The only way we will be your lawyers, whether it's immigration or personal injury or any of the criminal or matrimonial. But for right now, let's just talk injury and immigration. The only way we will be your lawyers is if you have that number saved and you use it. We will not know you exist. We don't hang out at Federal Plaza. We don't hang out at the emergency room. We don't come up to you at the scene of the accident. Unless you call us and say, we want you to be our attorneys, you will not have the best possible attorneys representing you and your family when either disaster strikes or an immigration issue comes up. So again, 844-774-3529 or 844-PPID-LAW.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, very important that you store the number. And, let me take some time out and say to everyone out there, could you all do me a favor? You're listening to the radio right now, 93.5 FM.
Do you have friends? Do you have family members? Well, listen, these attorneys have proven themselves time and time over again. Can you, everybody who is listening to the station, do me a personal favor, not even for the attorneys, do me a personal favor. Dial the number, okay? Because I know that you will need this number in the future when it comes. You're gonna need an attorney at some point for something. Maybe it's buying a house, I don't know. All right, immigration, personal injury. Dial the number, let it ring for 10 seconds. Adam will tell me if you're dialing. 10 seconds. This way I know that you are storing the number. I know how important it is to have good attorneys around me. It's very, very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. So I want every single one of my brothers and sisters to have the number of a good law firm. Here's the number. Dial it right now and let it ring. 844-774-3529. I'll be slow. 844-774-3529. You will get a free immigration consultation off the air, and that's a phone consultation with an attorney, absolutely free. 844-774-3529. The same number for personal injury, criminal defense, real estate, and more. 844-774-3529. That is 844-774-3529. 844 PPIDLAW. Going to the Facebook side. All right, there we go.
The phones are ringing. That's great. Can I ask a quick question though, because I don't want to forget about this. You know, we try not to be too political on this show, because certainly we don't want to offend everybody, and we certainly understand as attorneys that everybody has a voice. Everybody has a right to express their opinion, and we never want to disengage or alienate people just because of the way they feel politically. But I guess my question is, rather than talk about party lines, you know, we've been talking about individuals, and I think our opinions about Donald Trump have been made very clear on this show, sometimes too clear, but very show. I think everybody understands where we stand with respect to how we feel his competence is as a leader of this country. But Conrad, you've certainly been doing this long enough. Has there been Republican administrations that have worked with the immigrant community, that have, you know, not necessarily put roadblocks like this in place to legitimate status?
Oh boy, here we go.
Good job. Nice softball question there.
Here we go.
Let me just boom. Let me knock that one out of the park.
Here we go.
I'm actually curious, because you mentioned people that were appointed by Obama and Bush. So obviously they appointed people, you know, fair judges on those administrations.
Okay. Well, give me a second, and I'll gather my thoughts here. Well, first off, clearly there has never been an administration that has demonstrated more antipathy, more dislike, more hatred of immigrants than the current one. I mean, that goes without saying. You don't need me to say that. Just open a newspaper, turn on any radio, or just listen to our leaders' tweets or read them. But let's go back to Ronald Reagan. By a large consensus of people, you know, are the best president in the last 50 years, you know, by a lot of people's estimations. 1986, there was a major immigration law passed, which created amnesty. It was the last legalization program, created a massive legalization program for people that were here illegally, and including farm workers and all sorts of people. And in return, they created employer sanctions for the first time. So it was a bipartisan bill. There were Republicans that were, in fact, it was a Republican-sponsored bill. Basically, it was a compromise. On the one hand, for those pro-immigrant crowd, it created an amnesty program by which many people were able to get the green cards, and we've seen the ramifications of that since then. Many people are here legally and leading productive lives as U.S. citizens now. And on the other hand, the hardliners got employer sanctions for the first time. Employer sanctions being if an employer hired an illegal alien, they could be fined. Now and this is 1986 when this happened. And I was a brand new lawyer. I was just breaking in. I was going at it for a couple of years at that point. And it was an interesting time in the 80s. But subsequently, or I should say, there are various viewpoints on whether that was a successful program or not. Some people say yes, some people say no. Employer sanctions have been substantially hardened and much more enforced. The enforcement is much stronger, especially currently. But with each passing decade, the sanctions have gotten stricter and stricter, and employers are subject to higher and higher fines. It's debatable whether it's worked or not, because the idea was with employer sanctions, it would reduce or eliminate the magnet that attracted illegal workers to come to the United States to work. So if they couldn't find jobs, they wouldn't come. That was the idea. Obviously, it hasn't worked that way. I mean, there are a lot of reasons for that. I'm not a sociologist, so I'm not going to get into that at this point, but there are many, many socioeconomic reasons for why it didn't work, and in a lot of respects, why it did work. But there you go. Reagan, the great communicator, Republican president, 8 years. And again, you ask most Republicans these days, they will say he was, in fact, a lot of Democrats might say it too, best president of our lifetime. Not my opinion, but he was reasonable, and he also recognized, as did George Bush after him, and George W. Bush after him. They were all in favor of immigration compromises, all in favor of legalization programs. It's the hardliners in Congress that really have put up the roadblocks. And now, of course, with the current administration, all of the ideas that the current administration has put into effect, and their ideology that they've followed, this was all fringe stuff 10, 20 years ago. Unfortunately, as with many other things, the current administration has brought the fringe into more of the mainstream, just like these tweets, this tweet for this poor guy in Buffalo that got shoved to the ground. 10, 20 years ago, you would never have heard that. Today it's on the front page of the newspaper, on the New York Times. 20 years ago, you would never have heard of such a thing. It wouldn't be a conspiracy theory like that would be reported on in the New York Times. Come on, never, never, never. Now, though, all of these types of things have been brought from the fringes into the mainstream so that everybody sees them. And unfortunately, I'm sure, I mean, if you look at his tweets, following that tweet yesterday, I guarantee you there are people there, his followers, that are retweeting it and saying it's true and it's a conspiracy and it was all set up. He's not the only one saying it, and that's why he does it.
Divide and conquer.
Yep, that's why he does it, and it's nonsense.
The art of war.
It's nonsense. It's total nonsense.
Sun Tzu, art of
In fact,
war.
this guy, getting back to that guy, George, I forget his last name. This guy he's at every protest apparently in Buffalo. I was reading a biography of him yesterday, and he's a protester. He's not some guy they just Antifa just planted there.
Right.
Let's find some old white guy, that he could stand in front of a cop so they could throw him on the ground and put him in the hospital. I mean, there's the theory. Right? I don't think that's the way it happened. Right? This guy has been hitting every protest in Buffalo, and he apparently is a very fervent anti-violence.
Right. That's what they said.
Really, really cares about the Black Lives Matter program, and unfortunately, wrong place, wrong time, I guess.
Okay, gentlemen, I want to ask you guys a question. I know we've gone off on a tangent in a couple of ways this morning, and I do appreciate everyone who's watching us on Facebook, and we really, really, really do appreciate it. But I'd like to ask all three of you something here, and we've run a very consistent program, as Adam said. Is it possible for us to do like a show this evening? All right. I would love to jump on. I mean, a lot of people have been saying, okay, why can't you guys even do one show in the evening? So I'm calling you all out, okay, on Facebook. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard me when people are texting.